The socks for today are my Symphony socks by Elizabeth White. These were designed for sock madness, and as you can see it has beads, and I alternated the beads for the second sock. So this one has green beads with an outer line in brown beads, and this is the opposite. This was a wonderful pattern to knit. I test knitted it for Elizabeth, and I failed to say when I started these. I finished them on May 7, I think. Yes, 2017, but I did not note the starting date. This was absolutely a joy to knit. Good morning. It's morning for me. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, and it's 9:45 a.m. Yay! Uh-oh. I just made my tea from my calendar today. It is ginger orange with vanilla. It does smell nice, and knowledge is just a revelation of tomorrow within you. Deep thoughts. Brought to you by Yogi Tea. In my advent calendar that I swapped with my friend Esther, there were these Christmassy stitch markers, and that makes me so happy because I have more projects. Stitch markers, needle stoppers. I have more projects that I'm working on during December that don't have needle stoppers yet, and I want to Christmas it all up. Yeah, so I'm really happy with these. The thought for today is one stitch at a time. That's how cozy things are made. Yeah, I think that's true. I agree on that. Things that you knit or crochet are often very cozy feeling, like my brioche for today that I'm wearing. I added the buttons last week, and I could not decide on whether I want them to add to sew them on with the red or the color of the body or the yellow, greeny yellow, and I decided to go for the latter one, and I decided to go for the tulip way to sew on your buttons. So I have all these little flower like things on my buttons, and but I'm not sure if I want to keep it that way. It seemed like a good idea, but in the top hole of the button you have 4 holes, and you sew it on like this. So the leaves are in here, and in the top hole you make a French knot, and then you go back through the hole, and I came to the conclusion that the French knot is not per se knotty enough to stay at this side of the hole. So I've had one flipping back to the inside, and then you have to try and pull it back out again, and that doesn't improve things. But for now I'm perfectly fine. I did not think I was going to wear this close. I'm not going to close it any further than this, but I do like when my brioche is is shining. I can't close the next button because I forgot the buttonhole here, and I don't feel like solving it right now. We never know, maybe in the future but I like to wear it like this as well. I'm wearing a skirt today, and I looked at myself in the mirror this morning and I was like, oh wow, this looks so nice together. I have a linen skirt, so that is also a bit a muted color green. Well, I just liked the whole appearance. I don't have that often. Most of the time, I don't have an opinion really. I wear what I like, and yeah, well, one day people might say, oh wow, that looks stunning, or what a good choice, and the other day I could just walk by and no one would ever notice how I would look. But I'm perfectly fine with that. So, today's favorite is my favorite knitting books. And I own quite a stack of knitting books by now. Pretty recently, I think at the beginning of this year, I came to the conclusion that knitting books were something I wanted in my life. I did not know I wanted that. It might be a little earlier. Stephen West had a big sale on his knitting books, which was a disappointment, by the way, because they oversold the copies. So in the end, I only received this book. I ordered 3. I only received this one, and the other ones were sold out, and they offered me my money back or a digital copy. But I just came to the conclusion that I needed knitting books in my life. So I was very disappointed. And I have heard many people complain about it. And I was not the only one. They oversold a crazy amount of books. And I don't understand how that can happen. But anyways, this was one that I actually received in a hard copy. It has a hard cover as well. And this is the Painting Shawls book by Stephen West. 13 knitting patterns to paint with yarn. And his painting projects are definitely all in the same line of designing. The honeycomb shawl is in here. These are different shawls, and for those of you who know me, you know I love big shawls, and Stephen designs big shawls most of the time, and I love the photography. It is so pretty. For those of you who don't know, before I became a Bowen therapist, I used to be a professional photographer, and but well, I decided to say farewell to that occupation. I had a big photo studio. I did work for a magazine, and but well, at a certain point in time, you all know this, that you have an eventful time in your life, and then you start to look at things all over and weigh your options again. That was what happened. I was really struggling with the question, am I still doing what I love to do? And I decided that was not the case anymore. So I was already training to be a Bowen therapist. And in my mind, I had this romantic idea that I would see some clients and then take my camera and go out and about to do a photography assignment for a magazine or something, and then come back and the next day do my edit work and then see a client again. That didn't work. That didn't work. Often when I had a very heavy duty photography job, I just felt tired and low in my energy, and well, that was really working against me to when I had to see my clients. So in the end, I decided to say farewell to my photography job. I stopped the rent for my studio, I sold my cameras, and I started to build my Bowen therapy clinic. And that was going really well until the worldwide pandemic came, and well, then it kind of collapsed. And it never went back to that same level. So, but during COVID, I started Wall Hobby, so, and it's always the same thing. The things that you focus on and that you give your full attention tend to be the things that grow bigger and bigger. And that's what happened with Wall Hobby. So, okay, next book. Only Yoking. Only Yoking. This is all about the yoke with this beautiful collection of top-down sweater patterns for all seasons. This is a book by Olga Putano, and it has top-down knitting patterns for 12 seamless yoke sweaters. But it's all about the yokes. I think you have to come up with the rest of the sweater yourself. And this is again such beautiful photography. And there's yokes like this in one color with cables. But there are also colorwork yokes. And although I don't like colorworks in a sock, I do like colorwork in a yoke. So this is also light layering sweaters. This is also a really nice book. I bought it pretty recently. I have not made anything out of this one. I did not make anything out of the painting shawls yet either. But I want to knit all the things. It's very dangerous for me to do an episode about knitting books. I think my list of things I want to knit doubled while recording the Dutch vlog already. Okay, plugged in, erased some of the previous recordings, so I still have 1 hour and 24 minutes to go. Well, I won't keep you that long. This book I recently showed in my vlog, but I decided to show it again. The Gnomes of the Grimblewood. The Gnomes of Grimblewood. The beautiful, beautiful gnome knitting book by Schira. There's this big cover that you can fold open to see all the gnomes. And this is such a beautiful book. And Sarah is also very into the photography of the gnomes. And for example, she has all these small accessories to use in the photos, which is so cute. And I wanted to show it again because She will do a year-long gnome along in 2025, and I get to dye up kits. So I was like, yeah, I really want to show this one as well. It's such a beautiful book. And all these books, the photography is often so nice. So it is also very nice just to sit down, have a cup of tea or coffee and just browse through it. A crochet book. The Crochet Masterclass. And this is a book where it's by Jean Leinhauser and Rita Weiss. And this is a book where they have several masterclass techniques. I don't know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different techniques. And the technique is explained first. You learn something about the designer and they show some of the designs. And then the technique is explained. And then you find a pattern in that technique. And this is one that I actually crocheted, not in a blanket, but in a pillow cover. And this is really nice because you crochet kind of a mesh base, and then you make all these single crochet skeins and then you weave them in. But I remember really enjoying this pattern, and the crochet chains eventually form the fringes on the top and the bottom of your work. A really interesting technique. There's hairpin lace in there. Again, first a little story about the designer and then some project. This is hairpin lace. And I've never done a hairpin lace project myself, but when we had Clara living with us, I always call her my Italian daughter. When my son was doing a year of high school in the United States, we had an Italian girl living with us for a year doing high school here. And she did not know how to crochet when she came here. But she learned really quickly, and she made several projects while in the year that she was here. And I helped her figuring out hairpin lace, and then she made a top for a friend of her. There's Tunisian crochet, there is entrelac, Aran, that gives a very knitted look and feel with cables and nubs. But there's one more project in here that I did start, brioche lace, and I never finished because that was one of the times that I did not pick the right yarn for the project I was making. But this is brioche lace, and it is so pretty, and it is really nice to do as well. So somewhere in the future I still need to do this. So Crochet Masterclass. I will link all the books that I show below. I have my Japanese knitting stitch Bible, and this is a very big source of information on Japanese stitches. I don't want to show the patterns, but here you can see what pretty stitches there are explained in here, and there are round yoke ideas in Japanese lace and etchings, and this is just such a pretty book. It's by Geo Röhm, and this is basically a book with a swatch and the knitting chart. That's why I can't see the pages. That's why I can't show the pages, because the knitting charts are right next to the swatches. But a very useful book. I recently bought this book, Short Row Colorwork Knitting, and this is by Woolly Wormhead. On the back it says, you've seen it, you've loved it, and now you can make it your own. And this is also so pretty, so pretty. I already did a short row colorwork hat by Woolly Wormhead. I made the top hat a few years ago. I will link it down below to my project page. But in here are 50 stitch patterns and 10 projects. So all these stitch patterns are explained. You need to get acquainted with the way the knitting chart is created. It's not difficult, but it took me a moment to think how to read it. But once you know it, you are perfectly fine. And it has beautiful projects. And again, I'm like, I want to make all the things. That's not going to happen. Look how pretty this is. Oh. So, Short Row Colorwork Knitting by Woolly Wormhead. This book is one I got at the beginning of this year from my friend Esther, who also made the Advent calendar. And I grabbed this one. I wanted to bring my Vogue Ultimate Stitch Dictionary as well, but that's still in the cupboard there. I have several Vogue knitting books. This has 40 lace projects. This is not a stitch dictionary. This is really 40 projects. And there are projects in all kinds of weight of yarn. There is, of course, lace weight, fingering weight, mohair. This is worsted, I think. Yes, 4. That is worsted Afghan Aran. But these are all such pretty projects. And again, lovely photography. I can see myself making several of the patterns from this book. Well, this is also a very pretty book. I have one more, and that is Knitting Fresh Brioche by Nancy Marchant. And this has 75 unique stitch patterns and 12 stunning wraps and scarves. So this is really a brioche knitting stitch Bible, so to say. All the patterns are shown front and back of the work. Brioche is, you can wear both sides out. And all the swatches, even the swatches are pretty. And then the patterns in the back are also really pretty. And this is one I made years ago, the willow. And that was when this book came out. Soon after that, Nancy decided to run a make-along for the willow. So that was really nice. And I met her because that year there was also a knitting fair where all the willow knitters gathered, and Nancy was there herself as well. So, but again, the pictures in this book are so pretty, so pretty. So I've had this for years because I think it came out in 2014. But all the projects in here are beautiful. I made 2 of her brioche patterns, I think. If I think about it, I will link them down below to my Ravelry page. And again, I have only been knitting on my no frills cardigan. I just can't seem to put this down. Let's see, my Christmas tree is down here. So since yesterday I knitted this amount. I will move the Christmas tree up now. It's not much, but yesterday I recorded later in the day, and today I'm recording early, so there was not much time to knit. But I will probably continue knitting on this today as well. Like I said, I can't seem to put this down. It is such a joy, and it makes my heart so happy to work with my hand-spun yarn. Did I say homespun yesterday? Well, I did spin it in my home, but I was probably, my mind was going out to a homespun house. Molly's and Robert's vlog, they do Vlogmas as well on Patreon. I am not a Patreon of theirs, but during Vlogmas they delay their Vlogmases to YouTube, so I am watching them. That is it for today. Just one more time, one stitch at a time. That's how cozy things are made. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a favorite knitting book, let me know in the comments and tell me why it's your favorite. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.